Welcome to Inside Voice, your behind the scenes take on the $150 billion home care industry. Here, it's not about the loudest voices or polished headlines. It's about real stories, real challenges, and real insights from those shaping care every day. Join us as we cut through the noise, explore trends, and uncover what it truly takes to make a difference in the lives of those we care about. Inside Voice. Today on Inside Voice, I have Argie Martinez, owner of Preferred Care at Home of North Austin, and the very first location that opened up in the state of Texas with Preferred Care at Home. She's the CEO of that location, has been in business for almost 16 years. She's also an author of a book called The Miraculous Art of Caregiving, and she's creating generational business opportunities for herself and her kids. Argie, when we were upstairs and we were talking about it, and we were like, what comes to mind when we think of Argie? Came to mind was somebody who is immediately everyone's kind. What a cool way to be thought of. Generous, compassionate. These are all the words that everyone was throwing out when we were saying, when someone says Argie, what comes to your mind? And another thing was one of our longest owners.
Yes.
Can you believe that?
I know.
2010, you've been an owner-operator of Preferred Care at Home North Austin since 2010.
That's correct.
What has changed about Preferred Care at Home and maybe even home care from 2010 to 2026 where we are today?
So thank you for the opportunity, first and foremost. But what has changed really is me. I've grown.
Wow.
I've evolved. I think that I've learned to be a better leader, if you will.
Yeah.
It was something that I had no idea what I was going to do as a business owner. So one of the things that I know is different, that I'm more seasoned, more mature. I think I've learned more of how to be a leader. Communicate with my staff,
yes,
with my community. I think.
Yeah, take me back. We're 2010. So Argie's a registered nurse.
Correct.
2010, you decided to jump into this and become an entrepreneur and a business owner.
Correct.
What would be one thing if you were able to go back and talk to 2010 Argie, who's a registered nurse and still are? What would you say, hey, this is what the future is going to hold, and this is how you're going to grow in these areas? That would surprise her. Would it be coming up on conference and giving talks in front of everybody like you do now?
You know what? I never imagined, or I never even thought of like the responsibility that I feel right now with my business or businesses. And I at first I thought, okay, I want to do this. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to try it out. I think I'm skilled enough to say I can manage a business, but then going into it, and now in the season that I'm in right now, I feel stronger. I feel like I should. At that point, I didn't have the same strength and knowledge that I have now, if you will.
Sure.
But I have invested in me, which I didn't think of before, but I've coached myself.
What's some ways you invested in you?
I have hired coaches to teach me how to be a leader, how to be a CEO, how to prepare for the growth of my business, because it's not just being strong, it's being spiritually strong.
Amen.
Because this business will drain you if you're not ready. If you're not strong enough physically, mentally, and spiritually, it will wear you down. So I think I've learned a little bit more and more every year how to manage that compassion or the caregiver fatigue that comes on from running a business like this.
You know, it's funny when you're in an airplane and they say the oxygen mask drop down, make sure you put it on yourself before you can put, and the idea of for a business owner, it's the same mindset.
Correct.
You can't be giving from an empty cup.
Exactly. You can't be a starving baker. Have you heard that book? There's a book that says that the baker bakes for everybody in the town and prepares and gives, but he's not feeding himself because he's providing for everybody. So I think that was one thing I didn't prepare myself for. So somewhere down the line in the 15 years that I've been in business, I kind of felt the wear and tear, but I've learned to manage that caregiver fatigue that I talk a lot in my book.
Most people dream of being a part of a family business, owning a family business, but few make it work, let alone right now, 16 years and counting. How do you, your husband, your son Isaiah, balance the business of care, like you said, that can be all-encompassing, and keeping the family heart of it all?
So,
like, what are some ways that you guys think you do a good job of? One of our trademarks is we care for those you care about.
Right.
Our family caring for yours. What are some ways that you guys have instilled that into your own office?
So we do focus a lot on the nourishment of our spirit. Of course, we do a lot of prayer. We're a faithful family, and we all pray together. We spend time strengthening our minds and our spirits and all that. But yeah, I'm super excited that we get to bring our own son, our youngest son, into the business, which was something that I envisioned it. But, you get busy, they grow up, they're doing their thing, and it's just one of those things that finally, I guess he absorbs all that we do with what he sees in both of us working day in and day out. So he just literally jumped in, and he's been working with us since 2019, I believe.
So cool.
Yeah, so he's part of the business in the background in many ways, but I'm excited that he's here today, and it was a very wonderful experience yesterday when your dad said that about him. Second generation.
That's right.
That just hit me, and I thought, oh my goodness, yes. He's going to be second generation of home care.
That's right.
Wow.
I know. Continue the legacy. And I know an exciting thing that I think a lot of people listening would be interested in is you're opening up another branch.
Correct.
And you have plans for Isaiah, who's here at our corporate office, to kind of take over that location and let that thing rock.
That is the plan.
And you're saying he's gonna move there.
Yeah, you know what? And he is such a good kid, and you've met him.
Yeah.
Not because he's my son, but he is such a good kid. I know that he will take on, and he's absorbing a lot of what's going on right now in conference and training. And my goal would be that he takes over Fort Worth and that he learns and manages everything, the aspect of administrative part and marketing, which is his niche. And then who knows, maybe we can get another territory for our other son.
That's right. So that's exciting. Argie, you're an author. You wrote a book sitting here, The Miraculous Art of Caregiving. And you kind of document the ins and outs of the industry and how it shaped you and given you different perspective of what it looks like to care, and you call it the miraculous art of it. What are you making sure as Isaiah launches this next brand where you're maybe not nearly as involved in, that he takes, that you're instilling in him, that you've learned over the 15 years?
You know what? When I published this book, and the reason it came out, the idea of publishing the book was because I was going through a lot of learning about the industry. So I was getting a lot of people asking questions, and I found myself researching and teaching and educating people about it. So it just birthed from that situation where people are asking questions. They're not aware of what programs are out there, what is available for them as families for support in taking care of their loved ones, and just basically tips. I talk about everything: finances, emergency preparedness, what home health, hospice and skilled facilities do for them, because a lot of people don't know. And that one of the main reasons for this book was to educate and to guide families. I visit many homes in my work, and they don't know what home health is. They don't know what hospice can do for them. So that's
even if they do know, they don't know how to utilize even the benefits
and how to get to it, or where to get the help they need. So definitely, I mean, I know Isaiah was in my family. We're all a very important part of the book. So if you notice that I mentioned what support they are for me. So,
And in your book, you mentioned technology can desensitize us to personal touch. As this business goes and trends towards more digital, hands-off, using AI, and you need to use technology, right?
Right.
How are you coaching your team as the CEO that has a passion for human connection and making sure the seniors' concerns are felt by human interaction? How are you ensuring your team continues that personal touch and it remains your agency's North Star, like you articulate here in this book?
You know, as a nurse, I've always known that touch is very important. So for me, definitely the personal touch in my company is there. You will always get a live person answering the phone, even after hours. I know that there is AI and they can help, but I still believe that especially seniors, when they call, they want to talk to someone. They don't want to hear a recorder. So definitely I am pro-human care. All the way. So my staff is great at, same concept, picking up the phone, answering the text, instead of texting back. And I definitely think that human care comes first. And touch is important.
And how do you think you get the buy-in from your staff in a digital age? You got your son Isaiah. He's probably using the latest and greatest technology. He's probably like, Mom, what about this in this business? Help streamline things. How do you coach? This is a priority for us to continue to keep.
Amazing question, because as you know, we can hire young millennials. We can hire Generation Z. We can hire baby boomers. And the beautiful thing is that we can use the strength of all of them.
That's right.
And Generation Z and millennials are great at technology. So yes, that's good, and I love that. I have some staff members that are very good at getting the messages across. But a lot of our staff is baby boomers, and they're good with the human touch and the connection and the relationship and the engagement.
I will say this, a staggering statistic is suicide rates are highest among individuals over the age of 65 who are male. White males, it's the highest rate of suicide.
Wow.
And it just shows in this world of connection using technology, we've never been more disconnected.
Correct.
And so I think it's amazing that you prioritize human connection in your office in the world of digital. You write about finding more refined love for your career. Was there a specific moment in the 16 years, perhaps a difficult case, a business hurdle, where your love was tested and ultimately strengthened?
Oh, one of the reasons why I picked that word miraculous, because in my 15 years experience as a faith believing woman, I have experienced miracles. I have seen miracles in doing what I do. And so definitely miracles in taking care of people, because, when we get a client, we know we need a caregiver, and we don't know where the caregiver is going to be or how we're going to pull that shift from one day to another. But God always answers.
That's right.
And so when you pray, and for me, it was a case, and I wrote about it in the book. a client that didn't have family. He was by himself, and we became very close, and he was family to us. So it just happened that taking care of him really just touched my spirit and my heart, and I had to continue that for him, and that's one experience. But I have many that I talk about in the book.
It's so true, because you do. If you're not careful, you get a little bit jaded to client problems, and you don't realize that these aren't just tasks that you're trying to solve, but they're actually human beings that we're ultimately caring for.
Correct.
And we always say, like, if you're feeling disconnected to the services or you're getting a little burnt out, it's time to make client visits.
Yes.
And remember what you're doing and the impact you're making inside of your community.
Exactly. And that one thing I want to talk about that, just because when I start to experience that burnout or that exhaustion, what you do is you visit. You start talking to your clients just to kind of remind yourself the purpose that you have, the purpose that you're fulfilling, right. and it just heals slowly.
Yeah. Okay, so this is going to be a more personal question. As a Hispanic business owner, how has your heritage shaped the way you treat and serve the families in your community?
You know what? In my culture, we love our seniors, and you're gonna hear that from any Latina or any Hispanic woman. We take care of our elderly people. We love them. I think that a lot of my community knows me that way. They know that I'm a loving and kind person, and that's what I do, that I take care of seniors. So definitely my culture.
Did you always want to be a nurse, even when you were little? You just knew that was the route you were going to go?
Yes. I think that's one of my childhood traumas. You take care of people from the beginning, from when you were a child. I was 1 out of 5, so taking care of my younger brothers and sisters. And
when did you know that you wanted to go from, because you were a bedside nurse?
Yes.
From bedside to CEO of a home care agency. When did you know you were ready to make that entrepreneur jump?
It's not that I knew, it just happened. I became a mother. When I worked in hospitals for many years, and hospitals, they can become very 12-hour shifts. Sure. You can't get out. You're stuck in the hospital. But then motherhood came, and you know how that goes. You have to kind of look for a job that gives you the flexibility to be at home when they come home from school. Sure. And drop them off and then go work. So that's how I fell into home health. Straight out of ICU. I was an ICU nurse.
Wow.
I became a mom, and one day my babysitter called me and said, Isaiah just took his first step. Oh. And I said, oh no, that's not going to happen. I need to make a change. I moved into home health, and that's how I ended up.
That's super cool.
I know.
So you said it's passing me by.
Yes.
And it's not going to happen.
And it's not going to happen. I need to make a change, and yes.
Has home care allowed you to be more present during the aging?
Definitely. I think that our kids know that even though we're working, my husband, you know him, he's a working executive, and so am I, very busy all the time, but they know that we're there for them when they need us. So
that's awesome. You mentioned finding divine intervention in your career. Can you share a time or moment you felt led to a specific client? I think you just did. Yes. Or decision that changed the trajectory of your agency. So maybe through that interaction with that one particular client who didn't have family, how has that changed the way you look at maybe newer clients coming in? You know
that there is many opportunities. And one of my favorite parts of what I do is the intakes. I love to visit with families and with clients. I'm the first face they see from Preferred Care at Home. So that's my favorite time, and that's, I think, the best time to decipher what we're doing.
It also calls back to really the reason of this book, where you have family. You're the one who also probably organizes resources, right?
Correct.
That they don't know they have access to, and ensures that those resources are put in place.
Correct. And that evaluation can go, as far as getting them more help than they even expected. And sometimes that's just a fulfilling moment that you're helping and you're making an impact in a family's life or in a client's life.
That's right. So. It's awesome. For listeners who are currently caring for an aging parent, loved one, and they feel exhausted, how do they move from just getting through the day to practicing, like you call it here, the art of connecting to their loved one?
I mentioned a lot of ideas in the book, but it's basically asking for help. And a lot of families don't. And so I emphasize that in the book a lot.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think it's tough for daughters and sons?
I think that they feel the
spouses.
Obligation to do it themselves. They feel the responsibility and they don't want to relinquish it. And so I talk a lot about that in the book, because I think that one of the biggest, misconceptions is that they have to do it.
Sure.
And so I talk about that in the book, how they can ask for help. We can do many things to coordinate that she's not the only one having to be the caregiver, that perhaps she can be the daughter.
Wow.
And we can be the caregivers.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's funny. It's really a guilt thing for the clients, for the families, the daughters, the sons, the spouses. In our one of our lingos is asking for help is not easy.
Correct.
For seniors themselves, because losing their independence is studies show it's a senior's greatest fear. And so they don't ask for help, and they let go of their dignity in the process of not asking for help. But it's interesting to also hear from your perspective that you write in this book. It's also the caring spouse, son or daughter, who are burnt out.
Yes. And
they can't ask for help. And you said something that I remember operating my agency. I got many calls a year where we had a banner on our website that said, "Be the daughter again."
Yes. And
you said that.
Yes.
And that will only resonate with you when you are a burnt out caregiver. When you hear those words, you go, "Oh, yeah, I would love to be mom's daughter again."
Exactly.
And not that caregiver.
And to see that in the daughter's face and realize you're right, and that's the beautiful thing about what we do.
And there's no guilt in asking for help.
No.
It's almost...
And I re-emphasize it a lot in the book, because I think that's one of the biggest things that happen with children.
All right, a new branch is in the horizon.
Yes.
And almost 16 years behind you. What does success look like now compared to probably 2010, where it was like, let's just get this thing off the ground, let's get profitable, allow me to be at home with my babies, see the first steps and we're part of the first words. What does success look like now?
Well, success now looks like fulfillment. I feel blessed. I feel strong. I'm savoring what I do. It is tedious. It's a lot of work. I feel the responsibility, but I love what I do. There is that saying that says, when you love your work, you never work a day in your life. So I continue to feel that way. I know that there's more to come. And what I always say is, how can I serve more?
That's right.
That's what I want.
Being a good steward of what you currently have, and then allow God to open the doors for the rest.
Yes.
That's awesome. Argie, thank you for coming on the Inside Voice and sharing your story.
You're welcome. Thank you for giving me the opportunity.
Absolutely. Thanks for listening. Make sure you give us a follow so you stay up to date whenever we drop a new episode. Inside Voice.